Here we go. Alright guys, so welcome to the part 2 of working on my OBS, Cummins swapped OBS. So today is kind of a very intimidating and exciting day. We're trying to get the old 12 valve to start here on my makeshift cart with the engine stand, not even engine stand, the engine hoist. So we've spent most of the morning here trying to figure out how to get this to even turn over. And we've been looking at a ton of forums and watching a bunch of YouTube videos, and I think we finally figured out. Well, my friend Lane figured it out, so thanks to Lane if he watches this. So I think we're gonna try and get this. Let me just show you guys what's going on here. So last time you saw, I was working on some of the timing cover stuff, and I put that cover back on. What I've done since then is I've put the RTV and the gasket around it, so now it's sealed. And I also got this front crank bearing seal on here. So those are both installed, so this front case is on for good. The other thing I did was there's this huge canister that sits over here on the side of the engine. This guy right here. That is a heat transfer, heat exchanger for the automatic transmission. So I actually got that removed. It's sitting there on the ground, but it frees up all this space over here. I made a post on Reddit because I wasn't sure what to do with it, and nobody online was giving any straight answers. But thankfully the guys on Reddit, they told me that I can take it off because I have a manual transmission. So I got that off, and I also got the AC compressor off because we're actually going to be using the entire AC system that's already in the Ford. I just have to buy a bracket that bolts up somewhere around here, and then we can tie in the Ford AC to the Cummins, so that'll be really nice. So now that you guys are brought up to speed, we're going to try and get this to start. I'm very nervous and incredibly intimidated, but I think we're going to be able to get it to start. So let's see if we can do that. Okay, so right now we have both the negative and the positive battery wires hooked up. Thankfully the guy I bought this from left these all attached, so it makes it really easy for us. But we have a jumper cable on the starter solenoid, I think. I'm not positive. We've been learning a lot about this. So now we're just going to see what happens. Theoretically it shouldn't start because the shut-off valve up here is down, and when it's up it'll allow the fuel to go in and actually start. So let's see what happens. Let's see if it cranks over for a minute. So here we go. Jeez. Okay, well it cranks over. Sounds healthy-ish. Okay, well, that answers our question. Starter sounds great. So I guess if we give it fuel now, it should start. Not super secure, but it should work. Alright, I'm super nervous. Here we go. We got full hap butt in the camera. Okay, ready? Here we go. Well, that's good news. Sounds like it's getting compression. Okay, here we go. Whew. She wants to.
Give her a snort, dude.
No, I don't want to give her a snort. Need more gas. Ain't got no gas. Ain't got no gas in it. Okay, here we go again. Okay, so now that we got it running, I want to start it again. I wish I had an oil pressure sensor that we could hook in over here, but I don't. But what we are going to check and see if there's any blow-by. I doubt it, because this engine only has 180,000 miles on it. So let's try it again and see if there's any blow-by. If there's any blow-by, we'll either see smoke coming out of here, or if we put this on here, we'll see this bouncing around, because then the compression's getting past the piston rings and making its way out. So let's try it again. That's awesome. Okay. That sounds really good. So today's the next day. Yesterday we were working on the engine, getting it started, and it kind of came to my mind that I didn't really show you guys exactly what we did to get it started. I know there's a lot of videos out there online that tell you how to do it, and there's a lot of forums out there that tell you exactly how to do it, but I figured I'd give you guys a little video on if you're trying to do this, even if you just have a 12 valve that you're putting in something else. I just wanted to show you guys specifically what you need to do to get it started if you've never done it before, because it is a little intimidating at first, but let me just show you real quick. So this is going to be pertaining to P-pumps. P-pump 12 valves, not VE, because I don't know if it's very different, but this is my experience. So to get one of these started outside of the truck, just on some pallets or whatever, all you need is a few things. One, this here is the inlet hose for the fuel pump, or sorry, the fuel filter. So this needs to go into a can of diesel. And you can also put this is the return to the fuel tank. You put this in the exact same can, and they'll pull and return into the same tank, no problems whatsoever. Then there's this little primer down here. You push this 1,000,000 times until you hear an audible squeak come from up here. This is called the overflow valve, something relief valve. Anyways, that tells you that there is enough fuel in the P-pump. Now that you have that done, all you'll have to do is get a battery, and which you guys saw yesterday, and there's this ground bolt here on the engine. Thankfully, the guy before me left all the cables on here, so it was very easy. But all you need is a ground right there. Go to the ground on the battery, and then power from the starter, which is this guy right down here. And then to start it, there's this, I don't know if you guys can see it, this guy right here in the back. I ran the jumper cable from that post, and then I pressed it up against the positive on the battery, and then that pushed out the starter into the flywheel and turned it over. So that's all you need to do to start a 12 valve. Very simple, and it's so nice that it's simple. Oh, one more very crucial thing that I forgot. This here is the fuel shut-off switch. When this is down, it tells the engine to don't give any fuel to the injectors. When it's up like this, that means that it will give fuel to the injectors. So what you guys saw yesterday was Hap, my cousin, was here holding this up while I was starting it, so it would let the injectors get fuel. To turn it off, you just let go of that. So in theory, you could just run some zip ties around here and then start it yourself, and then cut the zip ties when you're finished and you want to turn off the engine. And lastly, this here is the throttle, and it is extremely touchy. So if you need any effort, if you need to give it a little bit of help to get it started, you just press in here. But like I said, very touchy. So that's it. That's all you need to get this thing started. think this was already done recently, but we're gonna do it again anyways, because just for assurance. So you guys remember that one time when I bought a really nice clutch from South Bend Clutch, and I was going to put it on the engine here and get it all situated and ready for the transmission, but the transmission that I bought from the junkyard has the upgraded input shaft and it doesn't fit my new clutch? Yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me demonstrate it for you. So here's our South Bend clutch with the 1.25" spline, and here is our junkyard transmission, NV4500, with apparently an 1 3/8" input shaft. As you can see, because of how it is, it doesn't fit. Never heard that before. This is both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because this, combined with the fact that the 5th gear nut was welded, makes me think that whoever owned this transmission before me actually took good care of it. And maybe they destroyed the stock input shaft and they upgraded this one, which is great because I was actually thinking about doing that later in the future if it ever did happen. But that wasn't really one of my worries. So it's actually really good that that's upgraded, but it sucks because now I have to return and hopefully get my money back on this clutch and get a different clutch and flywheel. Well, I mean, I have to get a new flywheel, but I'm going to give South Bend Clutch a call and talk with them and see what they can do for me. But dang, I was hoping I could get the clutch on for you guys on this video, but I guess it's not going to happen. Thankfully, there's a couple other things we can still do. I'm going to sulk for a minute and then we'll get back to putting the transmission together because we got the bell housing and the clutch fork and everything else. So let's do that. Look, it's a complete transmission. Just kidding. I don't have all of these parts done yet. I don't have the clutch fork on. It's just kind of just sitting there. But man, this looks so much better with a bell housing. Crazy how that works. So I got this little pivot ball in here, and I put the is this a slave? This is a slave cylinder. So I put this slave cylinder in that I bought. It's just chilling there right now. I don't think I can get this all situated yet until the clutch and flywheel is on there, which is kind of a huge bummer. So not having that clutch and flywheel right now is kind of a huge bummer because I was planning on getting all of that installed today for you guys to put in that video. But you know, things happen, and I was dumb. I didn't think to measure the input shaft. I was just assuming that it was the stock one because it came from a junkyard, but I guess that's what happens. So I'm gonna give South Bend Clutch a call, see if they can exchange my clutch and flywheel for one that will accept the 1 3/8" input shaft. Then we can get the clutch fork adjusted and all of that done and get the transmission mounted to the engine. For now, what I'm going to do though, when we took off this guy down here, the heat exchanger, it left 2 of these coolant lines. You can see it back there too. So I just went over to Napa, and where is it? Oh, there it is. Went over to Napa and just grabbed me some coolant hose. So I'm going to put that on there. So that's going to be it for this video. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get... Calm down. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the transmission mated to the engine. But, you know, I was kind of expecting some of these things to happen during this whole build process. So we'll just have to deal with it. We'll roll with the punches. So if any of you guys are doing this swap, thinking about doing this swap, or have already done this swap, please leave comments down below. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I want to see if I've done anything wrong, if you guys have any tips for me, if there's anything I should do regarding the engine and transmission differently, any upgrades I should make. Please comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. And if you guys are liking this series so far, go ahead and hit that like button. If you want to keep watching, you're free to subscribe. I never press anybody to subscribe because I just think it's pushy, but if you do feel like subscribing, I really appreciate it. So that's going to be it for this part 2 of the Cummins swap. So I will see you guys in the next video.